This is our first example where we're going to put all three lines on the same diagram, and where they cross will tell us where our image is and what that image looks like. And remember, we're going to use the SALT system to describe that image. So size, attitude, location, and type. So that's basically what we're going to do. So in the previous video, we learned how to make the line. So we're going to use those same three lines, and I'm going to do them in the same order just to make it a little easier, just so that you can follow along. So my first line, remember, goes through the top of the object, straight into the lens, and then down through the focal point. Now, if you're doing this at home, it doesn't hurt. Maybe pause the video right now, draw this diagram, and then add the lines, pausing when you need to, and add them one at a time, because it really will help you with the process if you're drawing them yourself. So please pause and follow along as you go. So then we're going to draw our second line. And our second line, what we're going to do is, remember, start at the top of the object, same place as before, through the secondary focal point, so the one on this side, right through the center of that dot as much as we can. And then we're going to go straight out. Now remember, if you're doing these diagrams, this and this need to be the same distance from the actual lens. And then my third one, I'm going to draw. My third one is going to go, that didn't work so well. The joys of working with a computer. There we go. So the third one is going to go through the top of the object, and remember, through the optical center. So right where those cross. I didn't put the O on this diagram, but I don't need to. It's a little distracting, in fact. Right through the center where my lens crosses my principal axis. And you'll see these cross approximately at the same place. And that is where my image actually is located. So a few things I need to do. The first thing I need to do is draw in that image. So I'm going to draw in my image. And you'll notice the top of the object is here and the top of the image is down here. So this is going to be the top of my arrow. So I'm actually drawing it upside down from the principal axis to where those three meet, because this is saying this is the top and this is saying this is the top. So that means it's upside down compared to the other side. And now I can actually write out my SALT information, because I can now see where this image is and I can see everything about this image. Remember, my SALT, the first thing is the S, which is the size. So the size of this image, you'll notice this arrow is smaller than the original. So that's all I'm going to do, say it's smaller. Its image is smaller than the original, because if I did this with a real lens, it would look smaller than the original object. Attitude, remember the attitude, I have two choices. It's upright or inverted. And this is inverted because inverted means upside down. It's the scientific fancy way of saying upside down. Location. Remember, location is just talking about how far is this image to the lens compared to the original object. And you can see the image is a lot closer to the lens than the original object. So I'm just going to write closer, because it is closer. And finally, the type. Now, the type seems a little funny sometimes to people, but there's a couple of ways to remember this. First of all, if I was going to do this live, then this is where I would put my screen. Remember, we looked at some experiments before when we were talking about lenses. This is where the screen would go. And I know it's going to be a screen. Why? Because one thing is always true for all images, is if it's inverted, then it's on a screen. And if it's on a screen, it is a real image. So as soon as you see the attitude is inverted, you also know your image is real automatically, because all real images are inverted every single time. And that's how we draw one of these diagrams.